Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hope Report, your light in the darkness, brought to you by the Lindell Recovery Network. I am Jason Perry. Melissa is still on vacation. You guys have to bear with me in my, solo for today and tomorrow, and then she'll be back, and we definitely miss her. But from all reports on social media and through text, they have gotten a lot of sun and having a lot of fun in Florida. Um, so again, I hope you guys are having a good week. Um, Today, as you guys know, is kind of part two to a series that I wanted to get into in light of the attack at the Nashville Christian school. So a lot of you guys may not know, and I debated on how to do this, right? I debated on how to help in this situation. So I've got 30 years of training experience. I'm an expert in active shooter. I've been teaching it or been involved with it, with the security business for, whether it be the military, law enforcement, or private sector for 30 years. I've been doing active shooter as a business for 10 years, since about 2012. And my initial response to these things is, man, what can I do to make these lives count? What can I do to, these angels who laid their lives down? What can I do to make to try and make their sacrifice mean something? What can we learn from this? And typically, it's pretty darn hard, right? It's such a big tragedy. It's there's so I'm not seeing us on Getter right now, so I don't know what's going on with that, but I apologize to our Getter crowd if we're not on there right now. And so I'm just trying to see if that's something to do with me, or if maybe Mike might be doing something right now which keeps us from being on his Getter situation. But yeah, I'm not seeing it there. So, all right. Well, again, no worries. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on a tourniquet, on something that requires a tourniquet, right? So I've got an hour, right? This training is normally 4 hours. Okay. There's a lot of broad topics that all build upon each other to be able to effectively teach this. I'm going to teach this specifically in a micro environment. That micro environment is a church. Okay. These principles will apply elsewhere, but I wanted to boil this down to how do you keep your family safe at church? So understanding that I'm not going to be able to teach you every environment in this amount of time. That also being said is, do this professionally for a living. It's a normally very polished presentation with a lot of videos. Because of the format, because of copywriting, because of a bunch of things, I can't show the videos because of the limitations on technology right now. So I am going to go through this as best I can in the limited amount of time we have to be able to help you so that you are safer today than you were yesterday, right? And you'll be starting to think about things in a different way. I am going to talk about some high-level some church things specifically inside of policies and staffing positions and all that, but I'm going to go really quick, and you're going to see me skip over slides and all that stuff. And I'm not trying to hide anything from you guys. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get. Normally, this is almost a 300 slide presentation. I've trimmed out 33% of it, or sorry, 60 something percent of it. And I got to make it make sense. Okay. So let's get into it. And so you guys can, we'll see how it goes. All right. So The first thing I want to read to you is some scripture, and Nehemiah 4:14, which is one of my favorite verses in the Bible. And I looked and arose and said to the nobles and to the officials and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your brothers, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your homes. Okay? So, um, let's see here. For some reason, even the Lindell feed is showing a rerun instead of what's going on today. So anyways, I don't know what's going on with a lot of our technology today, but know that I will get it uploaded over there. All right, so let's drive on here. So this is me. I've got 30 years of experience in national defense, law enforcement, private security, corporate security training, founder and CEO of Trident Shield, 16 years as a SEAL, went to Iraq, Kosovo, Colombia, Indonesia, Boston Police SWAT Officer, and I've done executive protection for high value clients, as well as been doing active shooter exclusively in the consulting and training space since 2012. So 10 years, going on 11 years. So here's the definition. A person or persons actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area by acts of either random or systematic violence. Current method and tactics. We know that, everyone, the media loves to focus on what? They love to focus on the firearms, right? The firearms part of this because it fits in a political agenda, okay? Because of the political agenda, hey, Brandy, good to see you. Because of the political toxicity and the fact that it fits a political narrative, they really focus on that. But we know that active assailants use vehicles, as we've seen in parade attacks. We've seen knives, mass stabbings as well. So again, just understand that firearms are what everyone talks about, but understand that there are, multiple weapons they use, and that you're got to prepare for all of them. Okay. So understanding your risk based on the proximity to the attacker, right? Which weapon systems are you vulnerable? And you'll see here in the bubble, you're vulnerable to everything: fist attacks, knife attacks, small arms, pistol, vehicle, and firearms. And then as you go up in distance, things fall away. So 0 to 21 feet, the 21-foot rule is a rule that's taught to all security professionals that if an attacker has a blade in their hand and they want to stab you, if you're within 21 feet of them, they will stab you before you can neutralize them with a firearm, unless you get one heck of a lucky shot off. Okay, so security professionals are taught to back up, to create space, to buy time, to be able to put more rounds on target. Okay. Short range, 50 yards. This is about where most average shots, lay shooters, and most of these people who are doing this are is very, is where most people's expertise falls off. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Is that, it's hard to hit things under stress at 50 yards if you're not a professional. Okay. Now, when you get to, you see this 0 to 100 yards up here. The 0 to 100. Lauren, if you're watching this, if you could take care of Roden, that'd be great. Thank you. At 0 to 100 yards, you will see that it's vehicles and firearms. And I'm going to make sure I reach out to Lauren right now and get this taken care of. So the vehicle, it takes about, depending on the average speed of a vehicle, it takes about, 3 to 5. Can you take care of Odin, please? Thank you. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. So A vehicle, when it's traveling at 55 miles an hour, will cover a distance pretty quickly. So again, at 100 yards, if you're at a parade and you see a vehicle acting erratically, you only got seconds to respond. And then what you're seeing here at 0 to 300 yards, all right, that's actually a misnomer. I mean, Canadian snipers have made shots, and our snipers have made shots, up to 2 miles now, I think is the adding in a skill set and the armament that we're facing with active shooters. But just know that they may be far away by the time, and you might not even be able to see your attacker. So if people are dropping around you, obviously they can get you as well. All right. So where do these attacks occur? They occur everywhere. And, this slide, I would spend a lot of time on dissecting in one of my normal classes. But we know that they're happening in religious houses of worship. There's 15 here. This was during, 2000 to 2019, a study they looked at. It's obviously those statistics change all the time. Also, schools pre-K through 12, 44. We just saw that happen in Nashville. The main thing I want to highlight here is this right here. This 98.4% of public active shootings between 1950 and 2016 occurred in gun-free areas. Okay. All right. That's 98.4% in gun-free zones. All right. I didn't choose my favorite 5 years. I didn't choose my favorite 10 years. I did not choose my favorite 20 years. I didn't choose my favorite 30 years. I didn't choose my favorite 40 years. All right. That number does not lie. Why is that? Because typically your attackers don't walk into a place where there's a bunch of people who can fight back. They do what they did in Nashville. A 28-year-old shooter goes and gets firepower and goes and attacks kindergartners through 6th graders who can't even fight back. That's the level of cowardice that we're talking about here. Okay. So because of that level of cowardice, that's what we're dealing with here. Okay. That's what we're dealing with. So, and again, I see what's going on. I see what's going on. It's the, some of the settings on here that I didn't change. So this is all my fault today as far as where this is streaming right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to stream and start over. So I apologize. I want to see something here. Yes, that's what's going on. So let me fix this and come back.